Okay, so this is to family members and some friends. People have asked me questions about health, and I'm still working on mine. It's always a work in progress. I have been able to take a blood sugar that was incredibly high, and I've been able to bring it down just with food and vitamins. And so Justin, my son, as you guys know, because this is really going to be for family, but if you want to send it off to anybody that you think it'll help, or friends or whatever, that's fine. So I was really kind of motivated about this. Just my son telling me, people don't really know what to eat, how to eat, eating healthy. And frankly, I just kind of thought, oh, it's an easy thing. You just eat fruits, vegetables, and um, but it's more than that. And I've had conversations with people over the years, and they've, said certain things to me that just has made me think, okay, maybe I could be of some help while I'm still on the journey of trying to eat healthy, trying to, maintain a good health. And it's a daily struggle. It is not easy. But there are some things that I've learned that I think may be helpful. And so I'm gonna try this again. I did put some videos out a while ago, didn't push it. I'm not gonna push this. I'm just gonna send it to some people. Feel free to send it off if you want to. I'm not editing nothing. It's just not for that. Um, so I think, and I was talking to somebody today, and they were telling me how they were watching things that I ate, and it made them go out and get some things they could do the same thing. And so that just kind of motivated me a little bit further. So I think what I would say is that eating healthy, it is a journey, and it's a lifetime. And I'm not a fan of diets. I'm not a fan of fast, unless, you're fasting for a particular religious reason, um, or you're trying to clean your system out, to get your body ready to be able to eat healthy. But I just know people have just gone on these like juice things. And then once they get off their week or 2 weeks or whatever it is that they've done juicing or month or whatever it is, they just go back to eating the way they normally do. And what happens is they end up putting on the same weight that they had lost, but they put on more. And that's even with dieting. And so if you don't have a plan after you juice or after you diet, and there's not a particular objective to stay, with it, you're just gonna, these crash kind of things they just are very defeating. Um, so when was looking at, how do I try to change the way I eat? How do I bring my blood sugar down, get myself healthier? I just decided to take it slow. I did. Um, I didn't go like cold turkey on everything. I just said, hey, I'm going to cut back on the sweets. And I'm not talking about portion size. I never cut back on portion size. I cut back on sweets, and I found alternatives. So let's just say that you're, for example, a vegetarian, or you're spending just weeks where you're just eating fruits and vegetables. The portion size is not going to matter. It's just not. And so I'm not someone who looks at the portion size. It's what you're putting into your body. So I just decided, okay, I'm going to cut out certain things. So yeah, I would enjoy my kind of ice cream, candy bar, whatever. And when I first started to change what I was eating, I just said, okay, I'm just not going to eat 3 pieces of junk like that at one time. Um, and I just started cutting back on, I'm not going to have that pint of ice cream. I'm going to, eat a piece of fruit. I may have had a piece of candy, but I'm not going to eat the ice cream too. I'm going to eat the piece of fruit. So there were just small things that I was just doing. And then I started to realize that one thing I didn't want to be was hungry, because the moment I got hungry, my body just was starving, and it wanted food, and it wanted junk food, and it wanted anything. So I realized that I had to like always have like an alternative, and always have some type of something that I could eat or I had with me that was healthy. And so let's just say I'm going on the way to work or going to see someone or even going out to lunch or dinner with a friend. I would slice me up some like cucumbers and put them in a bag. I would have some nuts because they're very filling, like cashews or almonds, because they're very filling. And at that time, I didn't care if they were raw, if they were organic. I didn't care about that. I just really wanted something that was tasty. So my cashews were salted, roasted, and they were delicious. And my almonds were the same. But at least I was changing something. And so I would have this stuff with me so that by the time I got to lunch or by the time I got to my destination or whatever, I was not starving. I was not really, really that hungry. And it allowed me to be able to make better choices. It allowed me to be able to wait, to eat later. And so that's just one of the tips that I would say. Actually, two. One is don't go on some fast, extreme kind of thing unless you have a plan for what you're going to do afterwards. So if you're going on a juice fast, if you're going on, some type of a particular calorie count diet or whatever it is that you're going on, just make sure that you're thinking about, okay, after I'm done with this, I'm going to maintain this by doing this and this and that. I'm going to incorporate this. I'm going to not eat this. I'm going to, you know, just make some, better choices and healthier choices, because you will gain the weight back and you'll gain, like I said earlier, you'll gain back more than what you had lost. And so that's the one thing that I would say. And then the second thing for this video is just to always have something to snack on. I was with a group of people, and so I went to the store, and so every time we left to go out, we were hanging out, we were on a retreat actually. And every time we left to go out, I would bring my little stuff with me. And so this kind of stuff that I had was, celery sticks I'd wash off and slice it up. I'd have slice up some apples. I'd have some nuts with me, some walnuts with me, because I would eat my walnuts and my apples together. Um, and I'd have my cucumbers, I have cherries, just things that I enjoyed that were whole foods, that were real food from the earth, from the ground. And just snacking on that made it so that, by the time we went to lunch or the time we went to dinner, I wasn't like starving, where, I could just simply enjoy whatever it was that I was eating. And so those are the two things. And let me mention something three, because I mentioned I had my apples and walnuts. So walnuts are not something that I'm a huge fan of. It's a very dry nut. But I know they're very healthy for you, as nuts are healthy for you, and fruits and vegetables and seeds and all that stuff is healthy for you. Um, and so what I did was I was slicing my apple, and I would take my apple and I would eat my walnut with the apple, kind of like it was kind of not quite like a candy apple, but it gave me kind of like the feel I was having a candy apple. And so I was doing that. So sometimes there may be something that you don't necessarily enjoy that's a particular nut or fruit or vegetable, but if you can combine it with something that you do like, that's also healthy, then I would try that. So just don't feel like, oh, I can't stand this, I don't like this. See if there's some way you can incorporate what that healthy thing is with something else that you can kind of like eat together with it. So those are the three tips that I just want to give you today. And I'll just try to keep these short and just kind of put them out, and just kind of see where it goes. Like I said, I'm not editing this. And hopefully this was helpful. And I'll remember some of the stuff that I said today before I do another one and send an update. So I'm not sure what I'll talk about the next time, but just these are just things that I've learned. And like I said, for me, I'm constantly working on it. It is a consistent daily thing. And we're at a disadvantage in this country because it's almost like we're in an environment where the authorities want to harm us. I mean, that's what it's like, because anytime our government allows toxic things to go into our food and they actually think that's okay, A little bit toxic stuff is not a big deal. Really, a little bit of poison is not a big deal. Okay, so and then they give it to our kids, and for me, I have now grandchildren, and they give it to the kids, and they put it into their foods, and then there's other countries that have different types of things that they ban that we put in our food. So we're at a huge disadvantage. So I will say that don't feel so defeated, because we're at a disadvantage because everything is about the love of money. And scripture says that the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. And we can clearly see that with our with our foods that we eat, the things that we absorb in our body, and the stuff that people just do to foods that they don't have to, getting rid of farmers, trying to put all this genetically modified, not natural food, making it difficult for people who are in the income bracket where they can't afford to go to an organic place to shop, and so they're stuck with whatever this made food is, or something sprayed with some type of pesticide or whatever that has harmed our bodies. And so there's just so many challenges that we have to deal with that is not fair to us, and we have to live in this incredibly toxic, greedy society that we're in. And that's really what it is, toxic and greedy. But I was at their house, and I saw him and his fiance pray just before they were eating some chips or popcorn. And I said, "Oh, wow, I bless my food when I eat." I said, "I've never seen anybody bless their snack," you know. And he goes, "Oh, we have to pray over everything that we eat." And so that would be kind of like the number one thing I'll say is I do. Now I pray over everything I eat. I'm like, "Lord, just bless this food." And then some of the food that I know is not something that is just toxic, I just know it. I'll just say, "Please just protect me from the toxins in it." And so I just have to pray over it and just hope that we're protected. And we are protected, because when you think about how we're in this toxic environment, and we're still able to do the things that we're able to do, and we still can move around, we know that that God has got his hand in it. And one way that I'll say, and so this is getting off food a little bit, but just imagine, my grandson saw this movie, and I watched like 15 minutes of it. It's not my kind of movie, and it was called The Purge. And just imagine if the Almighty Creator, just said, he just put an announcement in the sky to all the governments and everybody. He goes, "You know what? For the next 48 hours, I'm not going to intervene in any way. I'm going to let the human race do whatever you want to do. There will be no consequences whatsoever. It'll just pick up from after the 2 days, as if things were normal. And there's going to be no restraints. You can just do whatever the heck you want to do. And I'm just going to turn my back and take 2 days of vacation." Just imagine if that actually really happened. Imagine what would really happen to us as a human species. Imagine what we would do, knowing that we had free reign for 48 hours, and there was nothing that was going to stop us. No one speaking to our heart, "That's wrong, don't do that." No one, just nothing. And so our Almighty Creator, he does intervene. And so we just have to ask him to intervene even more, because we are in this very toxic environment, and there is no desire, it seems like, with our, leadership, to want to change anything. It's about the money, and scripture says what I, said earlier. And so I'll leave you with that. Um, I gave you the tips. Pray over your food, and just also understand, don't be so defeated that we are literally at the mercy of just a lot of wickedness. And to poison your own people um is something that is like a supernatural evil. Okay. Anyway, okay, so that's my little scripture and thought for today on food, and I will see you later. Okay, now I gotta stop this. Okay, okay, bye for real.